Hello there, my name is Cedric or Stupid You. I made FreeGameFindings. We'll be checking out another keyboard again today. Keychron are a pretty big name in the mechanical keyboard scene. Probably best known for their large selection of fully assembled keyboards, the brand also offers bare bones kits, various keyboard parts like switches and keycaps, keyboard accessories, and even some mice now. The company's been around for a while and offers many options to fit your needs. Last year I actually got the chance to check out one of their boards for the first time, thanks to the second FGF giveaway with mechanicalkeyboards.com. Since then, I even ended up buying a used keyboard from the entry-level V series of theirs, a V1, and liked it too. They've recently launched a version of that same board called the V1 Ultra, so a promo was in order. That being said, there's an FGF giveaway with Keychron directly now, and I get the chance to try them out yet again. Rather than review the new version of the board I already have, it made more sense for me to cover something that falls in between the two Keychron keyboards I have access to. I was sent the Q3 Ultra keyboard by Keychron, so I could give a solid comparison between the three of them and give my thoughts. Stay tuned until the end of the video to learn more about how you can win one of the two V1 Ultra keyboards from Keychron over on the FGF subreddit. With the intro all wrapped up, let's unbox and review my Q3 Ultra. Packaged in this shipping bag and covered in bubble wrap, I get the actual product box. Taking off the plastic, we can get a bit of a look at some info printed on here. Quick little tease, I've got a Q3 Ultra with brown switches. Let's open it on up. After putting aside the quick start guide, some protective foam inserts surround the entire package we see. I'll kick things off with accessories. First up is a braided USB-C cable that even has a USB-A adapter at the end of it. I'm not sure of the length, but it seems fine. Next up is a 2.4G dongle and a double female-ended USB-C and USB-A thing. You would use this to extend the location of where you're going to put the dongle, I guess. This baggie here has some tools to open the board on up, some replacement screws and rubber for like feet or internal padding or something, I don't know. 5 replacement key switches as well. Love me some hot swap keyboard stuff. On that note, here's a keycap and key switch puller. Furthermore, some alternative keycaps for Windows keys, as the default for Keychron seems to kind of be the Mac OS. One final bit of paper slips to get out of the way, and we are ready for the real hotness. After yanking away the little baggie, we have the keyboard itself. A clean black board with black and gray keycaps, oh, and some blue accent ones of course. A good bit of weight to it all thanks to the aluminum case. Giving it a flip reveals a lovely metal plate on the back that I didn't even know about. Seen this on a couple premium kinds of boards before. Really nice detail, but it is a little silly considering, you know, it'll be on the bottom. You're not gonna see it, but hey, it's nice. Heading back over to the front, I can even pop the lights on quick fast thanks to the fact that there's a little bit of charge on the battery. Lovely stuff. No shine through on the keycaps, but hey, that's fine. Taking a nice look and feel over the double shot PBT keycaps and messing with the dial a little bit too. One thing I didn't notice at this stage would be the layout. The keycaps are KSA profile, which I've never used before. More on that later on. The print is solid on the entire set, which is always nice and should really be expected, so cool. And before closing out, here's a look at the top of the board. Nice dedicated switches. With everything yanked out of there, let's recap. A bevy of accessories like the braided USB-C cable and the adapter, alternative Windows keycaps, some replacement key switches, the key puller, wireless dongle, bits to open up the board, and some paperwork. Then finally, the lovely Q3 Ultra keyboard itself. A great looking metal keyboard with a really clean design. With the unboxing out of the way, let's get into a more in-depth look and discussion of the keyboard. As per usual, we'll start this whole bit off with a sound test. The Keychron Q3 uses Keychron's own Silk POM brown switches, which are tactile, and various levels of sound dampening foams internally in an aluminum case. Oh, and I believe it's gasket mounted. I think I saw that too. Audio for this will be boosted and is taken from a Google Pixel 8 Pro. Hope that works well enough. Okay, so this isn't my first rodeo when it comes to Keychron. As I already showed earlier, my second mechanicalkeyboards.com video promotion thing involved a Q10 Keychron keyboard, an Alice layout metal keyboard. I really liked it overall, but couldn't quite get the hang of the thing. It felt fantastic though. It's just hard to learn it, I guess, and I couldn't really commit. Some time had passed, and I decided I needed to move off of it and back to a previous board I already had. Just recently, I wanted to try another, more normal keyboard option from Keychron, so I picked up a V1 on Kijiji or Facebook Market or something like that. The board was really solid all in all. Definitely appreciated the continued QMK and VIA compatibility stuff, plus it was just a great basic board from a well-known brand. One thing to note though is that it is a plastic board. Since Keychron knew that I already had a V1, they opted to send me some other kind of board of theirs for the video and text review thing. I picked the Q3 Ultra because it was basically the middle ground between the two boards that I've already tried of theirs. Seemed like a good call. This was kind of perfect, to be honest, at least on the surface. I liked what I have tried of the V1 and really liked the build quality of the Q10. I didn't love the assembly issue that I had, if you happen to remember the video I did on that, but that was different and resolvable. Now I get to have both of those kind of combined into one experience. Before continuing, what's the actual difference between the Ultra anyway? It differs per keyboard model and series, I believe. From what I can gather, the biggest differences between the two for the Q3 is the fact the Ultra has tri-mode connectivity, so wired, wireless, and Bluetooth. Great options for more versatility, you know, fantastic. Another one is that it's got this dial. I fancy a neat thing that definitely has its use. And key rollover is also new. That wasn't on the base Q3. Oh, and the 8K polling rate, that is also new. The other big one is that the Q3 Ultra uses ZMK firmware by default. This means you can't actually use VIA for your customization, as that's QMK. Honestly, you might be able to just change the firmware for your board, but I don't have any insight there. It's worth mentioning since the Q3 was originally a QMK board, so that one, you know, could do VIA. The rest of it is pretty similar for this keyboard. So when it comes down to the overall quality of the board, it has a great metallic feel to the case and the keycaps feel incredibly premium. I don't really have a lot of stuff to add in terms of the RGB, but there's plenty of that. It seems to support some decent in-depth customization in that regard as well, if you're into that. Per key RGB and mix RGB options seem pretty big. Oh, and if it wasn't obvious with the ZMK and Keychron launcher stuff that I had mentioned before, then I'll directly specify that this board has onboard storage for saving your settings. I don't really mess with wireless options for keyboards too much, so I don't have a ton to add on that sort of stuff, but a 4000 milliamp battery sounds like a pretty decent one to have. I think it said something like 660 hours. I'm sure there's caveats to it, but that's not bad. It also touts that 8K polling rate. I think it's a bit excessive personally and would be more power draw, but it's there if you think you need it. I do have some notes that are more on the negative side of things. These might all be personal though, and may not apply to everybody, but one of them feels like it probably should. One major mistake that I made when requesting this board is that I didn't notice it was a KSA profile for the keycaps. I have now discovered that I absolutely hate the KSA profile. If you don't know it, the keycaps are kind of in like this bowl or dish shape. Starting from the center row, it sort of rounds outward to the top and then outward toward the bottom. It feels like it really gravitates toward people that use wrist rests. I'm not one of those people, so my hands felt really awkwardly positioned for this one. I wrote this entire script on this keyboard and didn't like the feeling of that at all, but that might just be a me thing, and if you're into the wrist rest stuff, then you're probably good. I do expect that I will be replacing the keycaps for further use, which is a shame because these are incredibly high quality. It's just not for me. The other kind of botch job I had in regards to picking stuff for the board was the switches. I chose the brown switches that they had. These are tactile. It's my first tactile that I've used in a while, and it kind of solidified that I might prefer the linear ones more, at least now. I like the smoother nature of those more, but I understand the interest in a tactile. But hey, a big positive to both of those issues is that you can change them out no problem, easily swapping out the keycaps and key switches, the latter obviously thanks to the hot swap-ness of the board, is fantastic and super user-friendly. The next one could have been a bit more damning had I not been able to resolve it. For most of this script, I consistently had key presses where I would just do the second input of a key, say if I were typing the word good or tooth or book, something like that, and it would just just not register the second press. So the 2 O's that I would be doing, I'd only get 1. I kept thinking that it might have been a tactile thing or something, but remembered that I've used tactile switches in the past. I didn't really get what was going on, and it bothered me a lot. I do type pretty fast, so I thought that that might be part of the issue. This got really bad during regular typing, sure, but I was most bothered by it with hits to the backspace. I would mash the key over and over again, a bit too quickly, and the keyboard would act as if I was just holding the thing instead. I didn't get it at all. Plus, I found that the board seemed to carry over the hold of my shift key, making every word start with a couple of capital letters. It didn't seem like it was much of my fault, but it could have been. It did feel a lot worse than any other board I had been on. The backspace and multiple hits thing were kind of killing me, so I tried to look into it. I didn't really know how best to do so it took a little bit. Eventually, I found out about the keyboard bounce time setting in the advanced menu of the Keychron launcher. Reset seconds was set to 50 milliseconds. Dropping that bad boy down to 15, I might even go lower, completely resolved the multi-hit problem that I was facing. It could have just been a me thing, but I don't really understand that this was the default. Maybe this is just normal, but I don't know. It completely felt outlandish. I thought I was going crazy. If I could go back and do it again, I would have gone for a different set of cherry profile keycaps and picked a linear key switch. The switch one wasn't the biggest deal though. I truly can't believe that the board ships with the keyboard bounce time setting it has though. Am I the problem? I might be the problem. It was incredibly annoying. Thankfully, the setting is there and configurable at all. Without the ability to change that, I don't think I could have ever kept using this keyboard. In conclusion, this Q3 Ultra sports some fantastic build quality with a lot of great considerations and premium features. I love metal boards and definitely prefer them over plastic, but I can't say that the price difference is going to be worth it for everybody. A V3 Ultra versus a Q3 Ultra is basically the exact same keyboard, but one is metal and one is plastic. You pay double the price for the metal, at least at the listed prices. If you don't benefit from the Ultra series' higher polling rate and wireless functionality, it probably isn't worth the upgrade from an original Q3, but you likely knew that going in. The dial is nice though, you don't get that on the old ones. If you are wanting to, you can definitely cut the price down a little bit by going for other options available from Keychron, but I can firmly say that the Q3 Ultra is a fantastic board with a lot going for it. Great feel, premium all the way, lots of customization, all in a very good, strong layout. Maybe make sure you get the keycap profile that fits for you though, and you may need to dive into the settings for that bounce time thing. I really don't get that one at all. With all of that said and done, be sure to check out the giveaway currently live on FreeGameFindings for your chance at one of 2 new V1 Ultra keyboards from Keychron. The Ultra series is the perfect solution for a high quality board with tri-mode connectivity. A fun little dial as well, of course. It's a shorter event due to the smaller amount of prizes, but hey, it is still pretty cool. Very happy to do the first promotion directly with Keychron here, and am hopeful for more in the future. Thank you for watching! Huge thanks go out to Keychron for supplying my Q3 Ultra and the 2 V1 Ultras for the FGF giveaway. Always love sharing keyboards to the FGF community. Very applicable. Be sure to check out Keychron's store to purchase your very own Q3 Ultra, or maybe V1 Ultra, or whatever else that might be your jam that they've got. I even have a link in the description so Keychron can know that you saw it here. I assume that would also mean that they want to work together more? That's a thing to throw out there too. I've been Cedric. Feel free to check me out on my personal projects and to keep an eye on FGF as per usual. Thank you for watching and enjoy.